Alright, quick note for those that do not have Zerakor in their simulator. The devs just announced that in the next patch they're going to add him to the event tab of the simulator menus. So if you don't have Zerakor yet, just sit tight. He's going to be available to you permanently in the next patch. I have two builds for Zerakor. The first one being the Butcher build. I'm not going to go into great detail over the Butcher build because I already covered it at length in the Eclipse video. If you want to know exactly how I built this and what parts I used, just go look at the Eclipse build guide, and I've got all of this detailed. But the double Butcher build works well for Zerakor, but not as well as it does for Eclipse. It is still very effective and probably one of the most effective builds, but it's not going to be as insanely OP as it is for Eclipse. Aside from Zerakor being really mobile, making it difficult to keep up with him with the Butcher build, he also likes to stand up after being staggered and do his Roar AoE stun attack, which can be really annoying if you're using a melee build, especially if he catches you in the middle of a swing animation or something like that. So it's not particularly great in those instances. And it's just not a very user-friendly build. It is still effective with all that in mind, and as long as you use your healing items, you can just bully right through it and still take him out in under 2 minutes with it, but it's not particularly ideal, especially when he's more prone to roar when you or a partner are close to him. Zerakor also has scripted invincibility during his transition phase here, so even if you bring him down to 0, you've still got to hit him again, which can be pretty annoying when you're just using melee build. All that said, the Butcher build is still very good, and will clear him in about a minute and a half on average. I personally like this build a lot better. It uses Wrath of God and Reserve Magazine 2 with dual assault rifle van braces, or two assault rifles that you prefer if you want to go lighter. I like the van braces. I also use the Rakshasa helm for its high lock-on range, which makes it easy to keep up with Zerakor should he decide to bounce around a lot. And I use the Demeter body for its high mobility and favorable distribution of defense, VP, and femto capacity. I am using 3 level 3 rapid fire capability attachments on each of my gun vambraces. If you don't want to upgrade your vambraces to equip these, or if you just don't have these attachments, you can just use a assault cuirass and get the same damage boost that you would if you put 6 rapid fire capabilities on your gun vambraces. The assault cuirasses, even the laser one, both of them will provide like a between 30 and 50% DPS, overall DPS boost over time, with gun arms, which have great sustained DPS. They're insanely good. Even if you're on PC and you're modding your gear to always drop full A ranks, and you've got the most powerful assault arm vambraces possible, it's still going to give you a 15 to 20% damage over time bonus by using those the assault cuirass. So that's another option for you. The legs are just the Demeters because I'm using the Demeter body. I don't spend much time on the ground, so what leg you use doesn't really matter too much. But do try to keep the weight to midweight or lower, just so you don't get a huge weight penalty on your build. But that's it for this one. It's fairly straightforward. As for partners, I don't normally make suggestions for partners. It usually doesn't matter. But for Zerakor in particular, Toby fucks. Toby does great damage to him, and he stays close to him, which causes Zerakor to trigger his roar a lot more often. And so does Zanki, but Zanki doesn't survive as long as Toby does. Zanki and Toby both are great options. If you want to use Forge instead for his loot bonus, swap Zanki out for Forge and you'll do just fine, but definitely keep Toby in as one of your partners. He does great work. I am also using the Barrier Burst skill to punish Zerakroar's laser beam attack and do between 800 and 1000 damage every time he uses it. Zerakor is a surprisingly straightforward fight, and all of his abilities are either really telegraphed and easy to avoid entirely, or completely ignorable. The most notable of which being his spinning laser attack. Just land on the ground and get within 30 meters of him, and he can't hit you with it. If as soon as he's done with that, you want to back up to just out of 30 meters because his roar attack, his AoE roar that he does, has a 30-meter bubble that around him that can damage you. If you're like 35 meters away, it's not going to hit you at all, and it's just free damage because he stands there yelling like a dumbass. Whenever he gets staggered and stands up, he often does it. Like 99% of the time, he'll roar right after. And sometimes he'll even do it 2 or 3 times in a row, letting you do thousands of damage essentially for free, just staying right outside of his radius. If you see him collecting red femtoparticles in the air like this, get back to at least 100 meters away from him because he's about to do a huge AoE. It does not look as big as it actually is. It looks like it's got the same range as his regular war, but it's not. It's about 90 meters instead of 30 and does way more damage. This is what he does every time he transitions from his heavy to his light armor. This is probably his dumbest ability because every time you fight Zerakor, you can refill your femto at permanent femto tanks. So that's just a free damage opportunity for you. He did not do this attack at all in the last fight, but when he charges at you like that, just roll to the side or at an angle towards him and you'll avoid it completely every time. Alright, and with Zerakor down, that's going to cover the Colossal build guides. I now have one for every main species of Colossal in the game currently. As they release Omegas and potentially even new Colossals, I may update these builds if the Colossals prove to be too much for the current builds. What I have released so far is intended to also cover the Omegas, however. But until that time comes, I hope that these have been helpful to you, and thanks for watching.